G'day, I'm Wil Anderson. Welcome to Gruen. Why do Yui want me to be so judgy?
This is Jay. Make some assumptions about him.
I don't want to. When you assume, you make an ass out of me and Yui.
This is Doc. Make some assumptions about what he likes.
Oh, OK, fine, Yui. I assume Doc likes his 6 close friends. You know, sleepy, grumpy, dopey.
Doc is an emotional intelligence expert.
Oh, so he's the dopey one. At least he can emotionally deal with my assumptions. Who he is next?
Make a quick assumption about Ariel.
Ariel is a mermaid.
She's a clinical psychologist who has 9 children under 16.
9 mer-children. Next.
This is Anne. Make some assumptions about what she loves.
Big jangly bracelets. The music of Joni Mitchell. The ABC. OK, who is Anne?
Anne is the Queen.
What? If you're the Queen, who was the old lady I killed? Give me one more.
This is David. Make some assumptions about what he likes.
No. No. I assume David likes people who keep their trap shut. Someone else.
Make a quick assumption about Maria.
How do you make an assumption about Maria? I'd say she has 3 grown children.
She has 2 grown children.
She wants to learn the oboe.
Wants to learn the ukulele.
Damn it! I got this one. She's a criminal.
And is a barrister.
I should not have said criminal. OK, one more.
Make a quick assumption about Lovemore.
Oh, Lovemore. I'd assume he was a professional boxer who is now the principal solicitor at his own law firm.
He was a professional boxer and is now the principal solicitor at his own law firm.
Yeah, Yui, I know. Lovemore competed for 19 years. He held the IBF junior welterweight title in 2007 and the IBO welterweight title from 2009 to 2010. Lovemore actually has 7 university degrees, serves in the Army Reserve and has a criminally underappreciated TikTok account. Yui don't know Lovemore. I know Lovemore. I love Lovemore. I can't live without Lovemore. It's why I invite Lovemore to every show. Hi, Lovemore. It is time to introduce our panel. Todd, Sampson, Kirsty, Muddle, Karen, Ferry and Russel Howcroft. Australians buy $30 billion worth of non-alcoholic beverages every year, and that's just for mixers. With Gen Z turning off alcohol on account of being weird losers... It's OK, they're not watching. A new entrant has bubbled up in the energy market, Sprite.
Psst! Dave, get your mind back online and think zesty. Well done, champion. New Sprite Lemon Plus.
Oh, well done, champion. But am I thinking zesty, or does it remind you of this ad?
Psst, Dave. Konting sipa lang para balik online ang utak mo.
Yep, if you say zesty 3 times, she appears. It used to take dangerous stunts to flog energy drinks. Now Sprite Plus sells with boring office culture. Karen, why swap extreme sports for Excel spreadsheets?
So this product seems to be made for people who would never drink your traditional energy drink, and they have a stigma against carrying around like a half-litre can of pink Monster energy drink through the office. So it's almost like this is stealth energy. It's the kind of thing you drink without creating assumptions about yourself. So no one's going to think that you're struggling or that you had a really fun night the night before. But the strangest thing about the ad is it looks like it's a product for people who do not love life. Like drink advertising. Like, drink advertising is meant to be fun, right? So it's like, it's either like it shows fun or it shows a transformation into fun. The outtake should be the drinks are fun. But this one, it's like, as soon as the fun turns up, like Auntie's here, we suddenly stick to Dave at his desk. And it's like this weird thing where there's fun to be had, but he's not having it. And Sprite drinkers are the antithesis of Coke drinkers. So they don't like the complex flavour, they don't like the jazzy caffeine hit, they don't like the sus liquid colour. So knowing that, it's kind of like, this is like showing that Sprite's a drink for, I don't know, like uptight killjoys?
Energy drinks usually taste like battery acid and have names like thrash metal bands. Monster, Mother, Rockstar, Bang, C4, Oxy Shred, and Kamikaze. Makes sense, you'll crash hard. At least it's better than this one. Yeah, hopefully it's not owned by Mother. Energy used to promise physical strength. Now C4 claims to support mental focus and fuel super brain performance. My super brain is telling me that's super bullshit. Todd, are energy drinks the new liquid wellness?
Your super brain is correct. In many ways, wellness, when it comes to energy drinks, is a diversion or a kind of sleight of hand. The main ingredient in energy drinks, other than water, is sugar. And Monster, for example, has 13 teaspoons of sugar in it. And then you follow that up with caffeine. So on no planet is that ever going to be healthy for you and part of your wellness. So in order to mask that, they add in something that's not measurable that everybody wants, some form of cognitive enhancement. So, and that is an incredibly loose term, also a massive wellness trend where it's either improving your memory or it's making you sharper or you're thinking faster. None of those can be measured. Most of that is psychosomatic and nothing beyond the caffeine. So they're using wellness as a way of masking a product which is fundamentally unhealthy for you.
What's interesting is these wellness drinks that are starting to crop up. They all sit within this sector called functional drinks. So it's sports drinks, energy drinks, caffeine drinks, and now what we're seeing is these nootropic or adaptogens, which are drinks that have mysterious botanicals and vitamins and herbal stuff that is linked to wellness. And it is the biggest growing market for drinks at the moment because millennials love it. It's seen as like a convenient way to boost your health benefits. And so pretty much they're just using a convenience store, like a pharmacy, where they're going around just picking up things, being like, how am I going to better myself today? But the reason why these cognitive drinks are picking up is because post-pandemic, they've had a massive growth because we're all struggling from pandemic brain, which is a non-scientific term used to describe the results of a collective 3-year trauma and anxiety. They pretty much mean that, we're tighter than ever, we can't focus, we're struggling to function. Our brains are like hot slop. So now there's this whole new category that they're trying to solve that we're so desperate to find solutions for.
Hot slop is also my description on my Tinder bio.
How's that working
for you? Come get some of this pandemic body, right?
It's true. Like, I think they're tapping into the anxiety post-COVID, which is, it's not just this category, it's a lot of categories that are going, we know you're scared of your health and it could well, another pandemic could happen, you better be prepared. So it's, apart from pussy, that I think the wellness factor is they've done a pretty good job of creating a new sub-segment in this category.
I just like any sentence that starts with, apart from pussy. Well, I got something for the promo, I guess. People staying tuned after Utopia. What's going on about pussy? The biggest new energy drink can't sell in Aussie stores because it has nearly double the legal amount of caffeine. So instead, they're flogging a sports drink. Prime Hydration is a brand run by 2 social media influencers whose names I refuse to learn. So I asked the coolest guy I know to explain them.
You've probably never heard of these global superstars, but your children and grandchildren have. Logan Paul and KSI are adored by millions worldwide on YouTube.
My children and grandchildren do love them. Have a look. I was there too. Don't believe me? Who do you think threw this?
This is a surreal moment. It's an expensive suit.
Got him! Prime has Aussie teens charging through the local Woolies just to get a taste.
Have boys ever been this keen to go shopping?
Karen, have boys ever been this keen to go shopping?
I think it's interesting because not really. There's never really been a product, especially a consumable, designed for this audience, but especially for like fans. And that's what these are. These are fans. Logan Paul has as many followers as almost twice the population of Australia. And it's not just like celebrity worship. These are people...
And out of the two of them that we saw, which one's Logan and which one's Paul?
The white ones.
Right.
And so they're not just fans, right? They're obsessed. And I think with YouTube creators, what they have with their audience are parasocial relationships, which means it's this one-sided relationship where the audience feels like they're connected through them because it's authentic, it's interactive, and they're like, for teenage boys, they can be as celebrity obsessed as teenage girls can be. You know, it's usually right before they get obsessed with like Lynx Africa and long showers. And all this is a captive audience that they're looking at and being like, how can we monetize that? You know, all teenagers have mouths and loose change. And so even if you're not a huge fan, you have to get swept up into the peer pressure of that herd mentality as a teenager. And the way that, like, even the stampeding that we're seeing, that's fun for them. It's gamified. It shows that you're a fan because you're willing to queue up. But the ability to, like, beat people at the front of the queue, to chase over people, to push out people's parents in the way, that's like a fun, interactive bit that you can then share as a story, similar to how a YouTuber would.
So Logan Paul has built an entire empire around social media. He's a multi-millionaire many times over from his ability to manipulate the sort of YouTube algorithm, and he's done it brilliantly with Prime. So he not only created the modern version of, you know, we always talk about word of mouth, this is the most important thing, it's the best tool. Well, user-generated content is the online version of that, and they are the masters of that. And they share all of that. And he shares a lot of his life, which gets these sort of crazy fans following him everywhere. I mean, that's Australia. This guy comes and the street is filled. But I think what they did, what was very clever, is their kind of scarcity marketing. So they didn't have enough product globally. They ran out. And now some people say, oh, that was just stupidity, but now they're coming back saying it was a total plan. And because of scarcity, the lack of product, it gets this FOMO, this fear of missing out. And that's what drives all these young people that want to get this product. And I think what was clever about it is what they wanted is trial. They just wanted kids to try it once because they knew that once they try it, they're going to want more and more and more of it. And so having this sort of scarcity approach worked really well for them. It was hugely successful.
Yeah, this is just really interesting for me in that, so Coca-Cola, you know, the great marketer of the 20th century, and then all of a sudden Red Bull came around, and Red Bull spent 40% of their revenue on brand development, where Coke was probably doing like 10%. And this is the next wave. This is the new form of marketing, the new form of brand development, brand building, using individuals as media. So these two, you know, with all their following, they're a channel. And then as a result, companies come to them and they say, hey, how about we give you 20% of a brand that we're going to call Prime, and then we use you as the advertising vehicle. So it's a brand new, not absolutely brand new, but a pretty new model being exploited probably best by these two guys. And just how simple is the name? I mean, it's like, guess what? We're going to come out with a drink and we're going to call it Prime. I mean, shit. It's like... Yeah. So, like, the best, number one. Yeah. And then the packaging is so ridiculously simple as well. And the typeface, there's nothing gorgeous about this product at all. Right? In that, it's
then
like...
why are you so happy?
I love the fact...
But essentially, you're just there going, you know what is amazing about this? It's shit and it still sells.
Yes. And as much as anything, it's because of the talent, the talent involved and the overriding energy that they create around the world. And yes, they energise young fellas who get really excited. Great. It's just good fun.
Russell just loves American culture.
I do.
I mean, there can't be anything wrong with a whole bunch of highly caffeinated teenage boys.
Exactly.
Everything will be fine.
I think that's why the whole thing gives me anxiety. I don't know, it gives me such anxiety because the thing about YouTubers, not only are they famous, you've got people recreating their ads, which are just very simple animated ads and showing people how to do those. And they're like 20 million people have watched them. Like, it's fanatical, but it makes me anxious because you can't control it like you can when you create the brand and you put it out in the world and you can control the brand. Like, I see that crowd of people in Australia, I just think crowd crush.
Well, the Logan Paul guy, he's got serious talent. Have you seen him wrestle? Like, he can seriously wrestle. He gets off the top rope and does the body slam. So no wonder kids go nuts for it.
I could barely watch the clip we needed to play to make this show. Well, there was not one part of what I've seen so far that made me think, I need to see more of this.
Well, I want to thank you because you've introduced Logan Paul, you've introduced that to me.
Oh, God. Oh, jeez. Like all professional YouTubers, the prime suspects are subtle, which is why their product placement looks like this.
Oh, this is going to be a great ad for his brand. Are you mad? You mad, bro? Rollins just... Oh, my goodness! Oh, it's bye-bye KSI!
Sadly, he KS died. Prime has plastered its logo all over major sports brands. It even ran this ad at the Super Bowl.
We have created our own drink company. The fastest growing sports drink in history.
You have created, something horrible. They can get an audience as big as the Super Bowl for free. So, Kirsty, why spend all this money?
I mean, I think that's a good question. Indeed, why spend all that money when you can, on a sponsorship, when you can probably afford to buy the football team? But it's pretty simple, really. And what they're trying to do is leverage their celebrity. They're following the audience that they're trying to target, which is young men, which are watching sport, and so they're putting their brand in the heart of the passion, even if they are the passion. And then secondly, they're just reaffirming the social status that they have, which is sport. It's sport, it's celebrity, and it's locker room banter, definitely locker room banter, which is part of the anxiety that this whole thing gives me. The Arsenal thing is really funny, though, if you don't mind me saying. I did wonder when I saw that, going, I wonder if that's a true sponsorship and there's actually an exchange of money from KSI and Logan to Arsenal, or if it's the other way around, because these guys have got 549 billion views, they've got 50 million fans between them, and for Arsenal, they probably give them more value. They've got a whole pipeline of next-gen fans sitting right there, and that's the power that these guys have.
Yeah, I think getting in the Super Bowl is it's also it's buying longevity. I think that they want to be a long-term proposition with their product. And what interests me about the Super Bowl commercial is just how bad it is. It's like that's cost $1,000. So, right, if that to make. So yeah, they've spent $6 million getting the ad in the Super Bowl, but there's no production quality there at all, and that again interests me. So because the modern, like in the old marketing, you would make something beautiful if you were Prime, and if you were a brand in 1995 and you're in the Super Bowl, you'd spend millions of dollars crafting the absolute, to make this thing gorgeous. They've just gone, whatever. They've just literally got out an iPhone and filmed something and whack it on the Super Bowl. That to me, God, it's a revelation.
It is, isn't it?
No, for me, it is. Russell, I know this is hard to take, but they don't need it. They don't need television advertising. They're just on one level, they're just doing it to legitimize themselves.
Yeah.
And why they're linking it to sport is the same reason that alcohol is linked to sport, because it gives you this sort of halo of it's got some kind of health benefit going on because athletes and sports, teams use it. And that's the reason they're specifically choosing all of these different, from soccer to wrestling to UFC, because they're getting the halo. They don't need it because there's not a television show on earth that has more followers or more people watching than watches their YouTube channel.
Yeah. Prime is a drink phenomena, and for some, it's also the perfect Christmas gift.
The bubble bar. Yes! Yes! Bubble bar. Yes! Prime!
Just what that kid needs, more energy. And different parents. It's the most disturbing way to sell a drink to kids since this.
Oh, poor little mites. If they don't get some tucker soon, they'll be too weak to make it through the day. Allow me. I'll just wet me whistle first.
Thanks, Rolf.
Ouch. Ooh, the white stuff. Are you made of it?
Australians love to hate a referee, but not every whistleblower can be sent to an Ecuadorian embassy for a timeout. This week, we asked our agencies to convince us that the match official is the most important person in the game. Let's go to the video.
Many of us are guilty of hurling abuse at refs.
Something as small as a whistle can make or break our attitude.
So by humanising our refs, we convince Australia who the real heroes on the field are. Enjoy. See ya.
Well, you've convinced me. Here's the second pitch.
So we came to the insight that we treat authority figures differently based on context. So while we all know it's unwise to abuse a judge in court, we think we're pretty clever when we slag off the ump at a big game.
The truth is, these umpires dictate the game. They make the final decision. So why piss them off? Hope you enjoy our spot.
It's the big game. The title fight. The Grand Slam. And there's only one person who can win it for you. One person calling the shots. It all comes down to them. And you just called them a The match official. The one person you don't want offside.
Wow. You've convinced me. Let's see what our panel thinks. Todd, which did you prefer?
Oh, that was an easy choice for me. It is definitely 2.
Kirsty, what about you?
Number 2 as well.
Okay. Karen, what about you?
I'm going to go with number 2 because I really like the way they've cinematically told the story before you actually revealed the end line.
And Russell?
Number 1 for me, Will.
Really?
Yeah, number 1. Yeah, without the ref, the game stops, and I think they did a pretty cute job. I like the ref getting sprayed with the hose at the start. Set it up beautifully.
Congratulations to Boo. We will kick this through the post. Let's talk about insurance.
This is Zoe. She always thought chatting about insurance was boring.
Yeah, me too, Zoe, but the NRMA has a new campaign that makes a natural disaster look unnaturally fun. The yard will be fine, but he'll get burned when he realises those leaks are not even covered by insurance. No wonder this wombat got evicted. F off, fatso. Todd, why fight fire with fun?
Insurance advertising is a tricky one to do. So at any one stage, only 20% of the market is looking for insurance. So 80% of the market doesn't care. So you need to create a piece of communication that's relevant to everyone across the board, even when they're not looking. And so one way of doing that is, of course, to use fear and worry, and natural disasters is quite good for that. And I also think the ad is beautifully shot and just maybe too clever by half in a passing view on television with your Ugg boots on, sipping a cup of tea.
I found out yesterday that 1 in 5 people, because of the economic sort of uncertainty and the way that we're thinking about the world at the moment, are actually exiting insurance. So they have no. That's quite a profound number. And we probably need people to have insurance, I would say. Fear is good when it stops people. You want to stop people from doing things, and we need people to do something here so they're not using fear as a strategy. And I think that's probably a good thing, but they're also, the message isn't that clear in this. But it is a beautiful ad. It's beautiful.
I mean, it's interesting because I think it's really hard to make an insurance ad because there's so many tropes that you get boxed in by. Like, there's always like a woman with a car broken down the side of the road, like, help! And then there's like always like a teddy bear being fished out of a disaster site, and it's always so full of people. Like, think of every insurance ad, there's like always human beings all through it. So it's interesting that they've looked at what is a disaster and been like, who is actually the main character in a disaster? And it is often the environment. So personifying that to try and cut through, I guess, all the noise of insurance advertising. It is a tricky one because I think anything related to disasters now in Australia indicates climate change, and climate change messaging is such a hard thing to get right.
Okay, so what about the idea that these are... I mean, these are like real-life events that a lot of people have lived through, and the idea that it's being used in such a fun way.
That's
like,
right.
You know, we've had a lot of response to this advertisement from people saying they find this incredibly triggering to just see something that is so serious treated in this way that is not serious.
Which is why I say it's so unusual for us in Australia to see advertising like that. So the advertiser is banking on that we're going to hang around to see so you've got to watch the full commercial to find out who it is. The risk around this I find just so interesting because the people that have produced it know how to make advertising, so they believe that the risk is going to be worth it.
And I don't think anyone's naive to the fact that the triggering is what they're going for, right? The idea is to prompt people down the purchase funnel to actually call and get insurance.
So the reason they intentionally want to trigger people?
Well, no, I think advertising in general is designed to trigger people in one way or another. It's triggering people to want more of X or to feel not so great about their body and buy this to do. I mean, that is the fundamental premise of why we advertise. But I don't think that they sat around in the boardroom and said, let's make fun of this. I don't think it's meant to be fun. I think it's meant to be thoughtful. I think it's meant for you to go, oh, okay, well, that is true, that we're not, you know, we're not, it can't take care of itself, so we need to do something. I think the triggering is fully intentional. I think and I'm not saying it's right, I'm saying it's how advertising is designed to create or to emote something within people. But I do believe that they didn't sit around saying, let's make fun of natural disasters. I don't think they did that.
I think they're walking back from where they were, though. Like, this is saying to me, nature is naughty, it's not terrifying, and hence the music, it's like Flight of the Bundle, but like, it's supposed to, it is a bit fun compared to where they have been, which is very much right in the epicentre of a terrifying disaster, looking after koala on a tree, that made us all feel very different to how that ad is feeling. So it's slightly confused from where they have been.
The line "until then" appears on billboards along with other thinly veiled threats like "until Mother Nature calls ahead" and "until accidents prevent themselves." I'm doing my Kegels right now. I'd have gone with "until you can H-E-L-P your fucking self." Russell, should they be honest and say "until we stop making a profit"?
What the billboard is doing is it's telling us why we've seen the television. Because the television has launched the line "until then." And as a result, we then go to the billboards. I actually think those outdoor ads are really, really good. You know, that's some of the best outdoor in an ad context that I've seen for a long time. You look at it and go, yeah, that seems right to me. And as a result, I am going to need insurance. So there's a very clever bit of copyright in there. And as I say, that line "until then" is launched in that television commercial and then it's resolved in the outdoor.
I would say, like, I saw the outdoor ads first before I saw the TV ads, and the copy line for me really, like, cut through. I was like, that's a brilliant line. That structure of the headline of "until" and then a phrase that you know turned on itself is actually really difficult to execute against multiple times. So it's like, that's a brilliant headline convention. What I found really tricky was the photography is beautiful art, but coupled with those headlines, it felt really sombre and actually depressing. And it didn't want to make me change insurance, it just made me feel sad.
I think the outdoor does lean towards fear-mongering. A little bit, but also, I mean, we know because there's so much bad outdoor, and outdoor is I think, well, I can't remember what we used to judge it by, but you know, it's like a 10-second rule. You get it in 10 seconds or not, or it's a complete waste. Is it 3?
Probably 3.
Yeah,
Maybe
like it's a drive-by, right?
Yeah.
And I agree that the idea is intellectual. It's quite good. It makes you think or crash your car, which you'll need insurance for while you're looking at the ad. But I think again, maybe it's just a bit too clever with the combined imagery, and it's fast. I love the line. Like I think that the line, but I feel they're halfway in and halfway out.
I will say it is such an audacious and bold act for a brand to come out and be like, the climate is changing, things are happening, and it's not going to get better. Because we see a lot of that in headlines, right? We see it through the news, we see it from scientists, but for a brand to come out and be like, this is the situation and how we're all going to act in it is quite huge. Like, there's people in Australia who still don't believe that climate change exists.
Other insurers create their own catastrophes.
He did say it was the most powerful in its class! All the gear! No idea!
Ferry, it's 7 o'clock on a Sunday!
Good thing you've got your insurance solved.
The experts agree. Budget Director once again Insurer of the Year, so you can relax knowing your home's covered.
Your car too.
Money Magazine and CanStar's Insurer of the Year.
I'm going to shove the leaf blower up his ass, followed by a dog with a lightsaber. Kirsty, how do you pick a palatable disaster?
Look, I think these guys they're not trying to solve world issues, a bit like NRMA are trying to solve a big global issue. And it feels a little bit brash. These guys are just trying to solve your insurance problems, your insurance needs, which is great coverage at a good price. And they've been doing that for a long time. So they've been doing it for over a decade. They've had consistency in the hyperbole and the humour that they have in advertising. And so it meets the customer expectation, which is they're expecting humour and they're expecting fun and entertainment from this advertising. So it doesn't rub up the wrong way, a bit like the NRMA ad.
Having worked on insurance ads in my past, what I find interesting is what they actually show in the ad. Because what you show in the ad, in some ways, is a kind of subcontract. So if you show a tornado hitting a house, well, then you must cover tornadoes hitting houses. But what they cleverly did in this house is, first of all, it's an unnatural disaster, right? It's created by a leaf blower. So that's not... And the house was not hit by a tornado. It was hit by a car, of which I'm sure there are not many cars dropping out of the sky hitting houses. So they actually cleverly chose all the things that so they don't have to worry about someone saying, well, I saw it in the ad and a tornado's hit my house and now I need to be covered. They chose all the things that would never happen. And as much as I find their ads, they can be grating at times, they are light and entertaining and you remember them.
Yep. When I see a Budget Direct ad, I talk to the television. And I just say, I love you, Budget Direct. I love them so much because they actually know the truth about advertising. They know what you do, right? So what happens all the time in every boardroom around the world, what differentiates us, what's our distinctive thing that we're doing, what strategy is going to make us different to everyone else. The easiest thing to make yourself different is do better advertising. You don't have to worry about the structure of the organisation, you don't have to worry about the price, you don't have to worry about anything. The ingredients, just do better ads. And these people, Budget Direct, they understand that. That's why I love them.
You know, we've learned a lot of things from Russell tonight. One of them was that bad advertising is good advertising. One of them that was mediocre advertising is good advertising. And this final point has been that good advertising is also good advertising. So, been a real journey tonight. One day, Russell's going to find an ad he doesn't like, but until then... That's all we have time for tonight. Please thank our panel, Russel Howcroft, Karen Ferry, Kirsty Muddle and Todd Sampson. We'll leave you with our own insurance ad, make some assumptions about it, and we'll see you next week.
This is Wil. Make some assumptions about him.
No, don't do that. That's really rude.
He can't find an insurance company that respects him.
I know. They keep making assumptions about me.
Wil is an ABC host, so he's probably a latte-sipping, goat's cheese-eating, pot-smoking...
Hey! That's only mostly true.
Here at UE, we get to know the real you.
Hello.
Then we insult you.
F-U-E.
Like Wil here, who can't even dance.
Oh, now I really need insurance.